Going broke is every baller's nightmare, but for these NBA stars, losing it all was just the setup for one insane comeback. From Charles Barkley,
you know, Shannon, when I first was an idiot when I got my money, I had like 3 or 4 cars.
To Antoine Walker,
I felt that like the world was mine.
And Shaquille O'Neal.
I like to spend money, but I don't like to waste money.
In this video, we're talking NBA stars who blew through millions, hit rock bottom, and somehow stacked it all back again. Starting with Allen Iverson. Iverson was dropping $30,000 to $40,000 per night at strip clubs, throwing cash around like confetti at a New Year's party. The man had a jewelry obsession that would make Liberace jealous. We're talking about a $500,000 diamond-encrusted cross necklace that probably had its own security detail. But wait, there's more. He owned over 10 luxury vehicles, including a $400,000 Lamborghini Murcielago, because apparently one car wasn't enough when you could have a small dealership's worth.
At times, I might have been too young. Might have been too naive at times.
Iverson spent $10,000 per month on restaurants and entertainment, plus another $10,000 on groceries. That's enough food to feed a small army. His entourage of 50 people was living like royalty on his dime. And let's not forget the $40 million he lost on a failed clothing line called Crossover Apparel. Because nothing says business genius like naming your brand after your signature basketball move. But here's where the story gets juicy. By 2012, Iverson's monthly expenses hit $360,000, while his income dropped to just $62,500. A Georgia judge seized his bank accounts to settle a $900,000 debt to jewelers, and suddenly the answer didn't have any answers for his financial problems. Now here's the plot twist that saved Iverson's bacon. Back in 2001, his agent David Falk negotiated a lifetime Reebok deal that was pure genius. The deal included $800,000 annually for life, plus a $32 million trust fund that he can access at age 55 in 2030. Talk about delayed gratification with a massive payoff.
You know, all I prayed for and asked God for was another opportunity at life.
Iverson ventured into the cannabis industry in 2021, partnering with Viola Brands for the Iverson Collection, because apparently going from broke to blazed is the new American dream. He also launched the Allen Iverson Roundball Classic and started earning from memorabilia signings and NBA appearances.
All I needed was one chance, and God sent him to me.
By 2025, Iverson's net worth sits comfortably between $1 to $5 million, with that golden $32 million trust fund waiting in 2030 like a retirement lottery ticket. Speaking of NBA legends who turned financial disasters into comeback, Gold, let's talk about another superstar who went from championship rings to bankruptcy court, Antoine Walker.
I felt that like the world was mine, is what you want to say. But it was great. I had a great career. I would never take it back. It was something that I enjoyed and will always remember the rest of my life.
Walker was living like money grew on trees in his backyard, and apparently he thought it did. The man owned 20 vehicles simultaneously, including multiple Bentleys, Lamborghinis, and a $400,000 Maybach, because why have one car when you can have a small parking lot? The gambling addiction hit Walker like a freight train carrying slot machines. He accumulated $4.6 million in casino debts across Las Vegas and Atlantic City, dropping ridiculous amounts at blackjack and poker tables.
All right, now you're getting paid because you're playing professional basketball. Is there anybody on the team? Is there any business manager that says, wait a minute, Antoine, you know, you're a great guy, but the money is not going to last forever?
Picture this. Walker lost $800,000 in a single night at a Las Vegas casino, then probably went back the next night hoping to win it back like some kind of mathematical miracle was going to happen. In 2009, he was arrested in Las Vegas for writing bad checks totaling $1 million to casinos, because nothing screams, I've got this under control, like bounced checks at the blackjack table. He purchased a $2 million mansion for his mother in Chicago and properties for friends he couldn't sustain financially. By 2010, Walker filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy with $12.9 million in debt against just $4.3 million in assets. The man who once spent $1 million in a single Las Vegas weekend was suddenly counting pennies like they were going extinct. His divorce added another layer of financial pain because apparently one financial disaster wasn't enough. He needed the combo meal.
I had a financial advisor, a guy that was handling my money, but as any young arrogant kid, I didn't want to listen to him. I kind of took things in my own manner and made sure that I did what I wanted to do with my money.
After filing bankruptcy, Walker sold his 2006 NBA championship ring to cover debts, then did something revolutionary. He got educated. Walker became a financial literacy advocate, partnering with the NBPA to educate rookie players about avoiding his spectacular mistakes. Walker also ventured into smart real estate investments, this time with actual due diligence, buying rental properties in Chicago and Miami that generate $200 $200,000 to $300,000 in annual passive income. He worked as an NBA analyst and coached in the D-League, adding modest but steady income streams. Walker co-authored The Hard Road to the Softer Side of Life in 2014, because nothing says I've learned my lesson like writing a book about your financial failures. By 2025, Walker's net worth has recovered to an estimated $10 to $15 million, proving that sometimes the best education comes with the worst tuition bill. But Walker's not the only NBA star who discovered that managing millions requires more than just knowing how to dribble a basketball. Shaquille O'Neal.
I like to spend money, but I don't like to waste money. So I don't want to spend $400,000 for a car. So I'm like, hey man, how much is this? Nah, how much is this one? So finally the old guy says, yo man, you asked about all these cars, can you afford them? Now I'm pissed. I said, what the you said to me? So I buy 3.
Shaq spent $1 million in a single day buying 3 Mercedes-Benzes at $150,000 each, one for himself, one for his mother Lucille, and one for his stepfather Philip Harrison.
But I didn't realize that. So I went and bought a house for $5 million. I'm in a Rolls Royce joint, me and my boy Alex.
His banker called him immediately, warning, "You're going to end up broke like so many other NBA athletes if you keep this up." And thank goodness for that phone call, because it was apparently the wake-up slap Shaq needed. But here's where Shaq's story gets hilarious. Early in his career, he invested in a coin-operated car wash without understanding how to manage the revenue. The spending spree continued, with Shaq purchasing a $4.3 million Gulfstream jet in 2002 without a proper inspection. The 25-year-old aircraft was completely non-functional, requiring $1 million in repairs just to become airworthy. He sued and won $2 million, but still lost over $3 million on the deal, proving that even giants can get taken for a ride. Then there was his legendary $70,000 Walmart shopping spree in 2008, where he bought 4 TVs, printers, laptops, sheets, towels, and clothes at 2 a.m. because he needed to furnish a new apartment after being traded to Phoenix. His credit card got declined twice due to fraud alerts, but Shaq persisted because when you're 7 feet tall, you don't let Walmart defeat you. After that humbling phone call from his banker in 1992, Shaq decided to get educated. He completed his bachelor's degree from LSU in 2000, earned an MBA from the University of Phoenix in 2005, and got a doctorate in education from Barry University in 2012, officially becoming Dr. Shaq. The business empire Shaq built is absolutely ridiculous in the best way possible. He owns 155 Five Guys restaurants, 17 Auntie Anne's pretzel shops, 150 car washes, and 40 fitness centers. His Big Chicken fast food chain launched in 2018 and expanded to 10 locations by 2025, generating $1 to $2 million annually. His early investment in Google in the late 1990s, starting with $250,000, grew exponentially as the company's market cap reached $1.8 trillion. He also invested in Apple, Lyft, Uber, and Ring before Amazon bought it for $1 billion. Shaq joined Papa John's board in 2019, owning 9 franchises, and became Reebok's president of basketball in 2023 alongside Allen Iverson, earning $1 to $2 million annually. His TNT salary from inside the NBA brings in $10 million per year through his 2022 10-year, $100 million contract, and the show's move to ESPN in 2026 ensures continued earnings. By 2025, Shaq's net worth sits at a staggering $500 million, with annual income between $73 to $76 million from his diverse portfolio. Our next NBA legend had to hit rock bottom before discovering that sometimes the best investment advice comes from learning what not to do. Charles Barkley. The man lost $25 million over his lifetime, including 25 instances of losing $1 million in a single session, compared to only 7 wins of $1 million. That's some seriously expensive entertainment. The gambling drama reached courtroom levels in 2008 when Barkley faced criminal charges from the Wynn Las Vegas resort for failing to repay a $400,000 gambling debt. But gambling was just one flavor in Barkley's financial disaster buffet. He lost $4 million to Donald Watkins Sr. and Jr. in a fraudulent investment scheme involving a supposedly billion-dollar biofuels company called Masada. The Securities and Exchange Commission revealed that investors were told the company was worth billions and about to be sold to Waste Management. Turned out it was about as real as a unicorn riding a rainbow. Early in his career, Barkley was spending like a man possessed, buying 3 or 4 luxury cars, including a $300,000 Bentley, because apparently one car wasn't nearly enough for a man of his stature. He told Shannon Sharpe,
You know, Shannon, when I first was an idiot, when I got my money, I had like 3 or 4 cars. Like I said, I started, and I tell them, I say, yo, man, I've been in your situation. I wasted money on cars. And then you're like, oh, man. Because When you waste money on cars, you're really just trying to impress other people.
The entourage pressure was real for Barkley until Grant Hill's mother gave him some life-changing advice. Once you start giving money to people, they'll never stop asking. Sometimes the best financial advice comes from other people's mothers. The turnaround began when NBA veterans Julius Erving and Moses Malone sat Barkley down for some serious financial education. After retiring in 2000, he joined TNT's Inside the NBA and eventually signed a 10-year, $100 million contract in 2022, paying $10 million annually. Some reports suggest the deal could be worth up to $210 million, which means Barkley is getting paid more to talk about basketball than most people earned playing it. When TNT lost NBA broadcast rights, Barkley and his crew signed with ESPN in 2024, maintaining his $10 million annual salary. The endorsement deals kept rolling in because Barkley's larger-than-life persona made him a marketing magnet. He earns $5 to $10 million annually from partnerships with Nike, T-Mobile, McDonald's, FanDuel, and Capital One. His iconic 1993 Nike I Am Not a Role Model campaign generated millions. Barkley also diversified into business ventures including Redmont Vodka and Neurovice medical device startup, generating hundreds of thousands annually. By 2025, Barkley's net worth sits between $80 to $90 million, with annual income reaching $15 to $20 million. But while Barkley learned to balance his vices with smart investments, our next NBA star discovered that sometimes rock bottom is just the foundation for building something greater. Vin Baker. His alcoholism began early in his NBA career and peaked during his 2002-04 stint with the Boston Celtics, where he was suspended 3 times for arriving at practices intoxicated. The Celtics terminated his $55 million contract in 2004 with $35 million remaining, though a players' union settlement provided $10 to $15 million, which was quickly consumed by his addictions and lifestyle costs. The financial bleeding was spectacular and multifaceted. Baker invested in Vinny's Saybrook Fish House, a restaurant in Old Saybrook, Connecticut that failed miserably, costing him an estimated $1 to $2 million because apparently opening a restaurant without understanding the business is like performing surgery with a butter knife. His 10,000 square foot Durham, Connecticut home was foreclosed and sold at auction to U.S. Bank for $2.5 million after he purchased it for $2.3 million, proving that even losing money on your primary residence requires a special kind of financial talent. Baker's gambling addiction compounded his problems, with thousands spent nightly at clubs and casinos, often covering tabs for teammates and entourages, while his judgment was impaired by alcohol. In 2012, Baker sued his accountant Donald S. Brodeur for mismanagement, recovering an estimated $500,000 to $1 million, but it couldn't offset his broader losses from years of addiction-fueled spending. By 2008, Baker filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, owing over $1 million in back taxes to the IRS, plus additional legal fees from DUI arrests and other incidents. The depression hit hard, with Baker feeling abandoned by God and living in his childhood home, staring into mirrors at what used to be one of the best basketball players in the world. On April 17, 2011, Baker achieved sobriety after his 5th rehab stint at Silver Hill Hospital, and this time it stuck like superglue on concrete. But here's the plot twist that nobody saw coming. In 2012, 9 months into sobriety, Baker reached out to Howard Schultz, former Seattle Supersonics owner and Starbucks CEO, seeking advice. Schultz offered him something better than advice. He offered him a job training to manage a Starbucks franchise in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. Baker earned $30,000 to $50,000 annually as he progressed to manager in training. The basketball comeback was equally impressive. In 2018, Baker joined the Milwaukee Bucks as an assistant coach under Mike Budenholzer, earning $100,000 to $150,000 annually and contributing to the Bucks' 2021 NBA championship. Baker also founded the Stand Tall Foundation, supporting children's education and personal development, and opened the Vin Baker Recovery Center in Milwaukee in 2024 to help others battling substance abuse. By 2025, Baker's net worth has recovered to an estimated $5 million, a remarkable achievement considering his 2008 bankruptcy. Our next player discovered that sometimes the hardest fall comes from the highest expectations. Evan Turner. Turner accumulated $120,000 in debt during the 4-month gap between being drafted in June 2010 and receiving his first paycheck in October. But that debt was just the appetizer in Turner's financial disaster buffet. His biggest mistake was a $10 million investment in a bar nightclub venture early in his career, likely during his Philadelphia Philadelphia 76ers tenure from 2010 to 2014. Turner bought high-end vehicles like a Mercedes-Benz estimated at $100,000, rented upscale apartments, and assumed his $12 million rookie deal would cover everything forever. His monthly expenses in his first year reportedly reached $50,000 to $100,000, including rent, travel, and entertainment, because apparently nobody explained that taxes would take about 40% of his salary. He also supported friends and family from Chicago, covering their travel to games and occasional expenses, adding $10,000 to $20,000 monthly to his financial burden. After his $120,000 debt and $10 million nightclub loss, Turner sought professional financial advisors around his third NBA season and worked with a planner to devise a long-term wealth strategy, aiming to live off $250,000 annually. Post-retirement, Turner became disciplined about saving most of his income during his first 4 years, avoiding major purchases and focusing on building a financial cushion. He shifted to real estate investments, focusing on stable markets like Boston and Portland, purchasing rental properties and house flips that now generate $200,000 to $300,000 annually in passive income. In 2016, while with the Boston Celtics, Turner invested in iSlide, a Boston-based custom footwear company, after thoroughly vetting the business plan. He co-founded Assist Sports, an athlete advisory firm, in 2021, helping young players with financial planning and earning $100,000 to $200,000 yearly as a co-owner. In November 2020, Turner joined the Boston Celtics as an assistant coach, earning $100,000 to $150,000 yearly until 2022, while also working as an NBA analyst on regional networks. By 2025, Turner's net worth has recovered to an estimated $20 to $30 million, with annual income between $550,000 to $900,000 from his diversified portfolio. This next guy went from earning $62 million to auctioning off LeBron James memorabilia just to pay creditors. Darius Miles. The man didn't visit a bank until his fourth NBA season, relying instead on a credit card and a bank card his mother gave him to withdraw $300 daily from ATMs. Miles lost over $100,000 in a California real estate deal in 2008, likely tied to the housing market crash that devastated property values nationwide. But that was just the warm-up act for his St. Louis real estate project with fellow investors including former NFL player Marshall Faulk and rapper Nelly. This Laclede's Landing property deal resulted in multi-million-dollar lawsuits against a local lender, costing Miles significant capital and legal fees that would make bankruptcy attorneys salivate. The personal struggles added another layer to Miles's financial disaster. The 2013 death of his mother from cancer plunged him into severe depression. By 2016, Miles filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy with $1.57 million in liabilities against just $460,385 in assets, including $282,041 owed to the IRS and $20,000 in child support. The bankruptcy auction in 2016 was both heartbreaking and hilarious. Miles sold off an autographed LeBron James jersey, thousands of DVDs, video games, firearms, and even a waffle maker to raise funds for creditors. Imagine explaining to your accountant that your business assets include a collection of DVDs and kitchen appliances. The legal troubles continued piling up like a car accident in slow motion. In October 2021, Miles was among 18 former NBA players charged with defrauding the NBA's healthcare plan of $5 million by submitting false claims for medical and dental procedures. He pleaded guilty in June 2023, receiving 3 years probation instead of potential prison time. But the legal fees and reputational damage further strained his already depleted finances. In 2018, Miles co-founded the Knuckleheads podcast with former Clippers teammate Quentin Richardson. Miles occasionally appears as an NBA analyst on regional networks, earning $20,000 to $50,000 annually, while his work with Knuckleheads has boosted his media profile. By 2025, Miles's net worth has recovered to a modest $100,000 to $1 million at age 45 in October 2026. But while Miles's recovery has been modest, our next NBA legend faced an even more dramatic fall from grace that included false bankruptcy reports and legal battles. Scottie Pippen. The Chicago Bulls recommended Robert Lunn as a financial advisor, and Pippen entrusted him with over $20 million of his wealth. Lunn proceeded to commit bank fraud, forging Pippen's signature on a $1.4 million loan to pay off personal debts and giving $7 million to a friend with questionable financial history for a real estate venture that went bankrupt faster than you could say due diligence. Pippen and his then-wife Larsa discovered the fraud through their accountant. But wait, there's more financial carnage. In 2002, Pippen purchased a Gulfstream jet for $4.3 million without a proper inspection, apparently thinking that buying private aircraft is like purchasing a used car from a trusted neighbor. The 25-year-old jet was completely non-functional, requiring $1 million in repairs to become airworthy. Pippen sued the seller and won $2 million, but still lost over $3 million on the deal, proving that even NBA legends can get taken for expensive rides in the sky. The real estate disasters were equally spectacular. Pippen purchased a $2.225 million mansion in Chicago's Highland Park in 2004, featuring 6 bedrooms, a home theater, sauna, and custom basketball court. In 2016, he listed it for $3.1 million, but after 3 years on the market, sold it in 2019 for $1.899 million, losing over $300,000. His Fort Lauderdale estate was another financial black hole, listed for $16 million in 2010 and eventually sold in 2021 for $10.54 million, representing a significant loss from his investment and upkeep costs. His 2021 divorce from Larsa Pippen after a 20-year marriage included half of his Chicago Bulls retirement funds and child support for their 4 children. But here's where things get really interesting. In the mid-2000s, media outlets falsely reported that Pippen filed for bankruptcy, confusing him with another person named Scottie Pippen. He became an NBA analyst for ESPN and regional networks, earning $100,000 to $200,000 annually, while his insights from his Hall of Fame career made him a sought-after commentator during NBA playoffs. In 2021, Pippen released his memoir, Unguarded, which became a bestseller and generates royalties estimated at $50,000 to $100,000 yearly. Pippen launched Digits Bourbon in 2021 with winemaker Dave Finney, capitalizing on the premium spirits market and generating $100,000 to $200,000 annually by leveraging his brand and personal love for bourbon. He also tokenized the Game 5 ball from the 1991 NBA Finals on the blockchain via the Ball Token Project, earning $50,000 to $100,000 in 2021 with potential future royalties, because apparently even basketball memorabilia can go digital now. He continues earning $100,000 to $200,000 annually from endorsements with Nike, Coca-Cola, and others, though these deals are less lucrative than during his playing days. He owns rental properties in Chicago and Florida valued at $3 to $5 million, generating $100,000 to $200,000 annually in passive income, vetted by advisors to avoid his past speculative mistakes. By 2025, Pippen's net worth sits between $20 to $50 million, with annual income between $600,000 to $1.25 million, supporting a comfortable lifestyle. Our next NBA star had to swallow his pride and learn that sometimes the path back to financial stability starts with serving coffee to strangers. Eric Williams. He was known to frequent strip clubs and nightclubs, spending thousands per outing on bottle service and entertainment, with monthly expenses during his playing years estimated at $50,000 to $100,000, covering high-end vehicles like Mercedes-Benzes and BMWs, plus designer clothing that probably cost more than most people's annual salaries. In 2005, Williams launched a clothing line inspired by a fictional Negro basketball league, which failed miserably due to poor market research, lack of consumer interest, and business planning that apparently consisted of name it after basketball and hope for the best. The venture cost him an estimated $500,000 to $1 million. His 2011 divorce from Jennifer Williams, a star of VH1's Basketball Wives, was a major financial catastrophe. A 2011 paternity suit by Tavia Serena Cannon alleged Williams fathered a child during his marriage, adding further child support obligations and legal costs estimated at $50,000 to $100,000, because apparently one divorce wasn't expensive enough. By 2014, Williams owed $24,000 in back child support for his 13-year-old son, and in a letter to a Colorado court, claimed he couldn't afford airfare or a lawyer to attend the hearing. The career decline contributed significantly to his financial woes. In the 1997-98 season with the Denver Nuggets, Williams tore his right ACL, limiting him to 4 games and derailing his career trajectory. His final contracts, such as $1.5 million with the Charlotte Bobcats in 2007, were modest compared to his peak earning years. In his 2014 court letter, Williams stated he was volunteering at a nonprofit organization, marking the start of his rebuilding process. By 2015, he was reportedly working with a Newark-based nonprofit focused on youth mentorship, earning $20,000 to $40,000 annually in stipends or salaries, providing modest income and a sense of purpose that helped him stabilize both emotionally and financially. Williams returned to his Newark hometown to mentor at-risk youth through basketball clinics and community programs. Williams appeared in the low-budget film The Caribbean Heist in 2013, 2015, earning an estimated $10,000 to $20,000, and in 2016, modeled for Artist Pop's Reinventing Rockwell series, posing for a painting that updated Norman Rockwell's themes for $5,000 to $10,000. Williams became eligible for an NBA pension at age 45. By 2025, Williams' net worth has recovered to an estimated $100,000 to $1 million. He owns a $200,000 to $500,000 home in Newark or Florida, a significant downgrade from his NBA-era properties, and lives frugally with monthly expenses between $5,000 to $10,000 covering child support and basic needs. Speaking of dramatic financial recoveries that required both humility and determination, our final NBA legend story proves that sometimes the greatest comebacks start with the most spectacular falls. Dan Issel. Let's close this financial roller coaster with Dan Issel, the Basketball Hall of Famer, who managed to turn his $18 million playing career into a $4.5 million bankruptcy filing. His primary disaster was Cortland Farm, a horse breeding operation in Woodford County, Kentucky, that became a money-eating monster. By 2009, Issel owed nearly $200,000 for horse training, veterinary care, stables, and boarding, proving that horses are apparently more expensive to maintain than luxury sports cars. The horse industry is notoriously high risk with unpredictable returns, and Issel's lack of expertise led to estimated losses of $1 to $2 million. His 800-square-foot home in Castle Rock, Colorado, purchased for $729,700, was valued at $693,000 by 2009 and faced foreclosure due to 3 loans totaling $1.2 million. The investment portfolio was equally catastrophic. Issel held $917,400 in stock with American Founders Bancorp, a privately held bank, but had an $859,020 loan against these shares. The 2008 financial crisis devalued this investment and reduced its liquidity, contributing to his $4.5 million debt to 34 creditors. He also owed over $77,000 to credit card companies and more than $258,000 in business loans, reflecting his reliance on credit to maintain his lifestyle and fund failing ventures during the recession. Issel's bankruptcy filing revealed debts to multiple family members and friends as part of his $4.5 million obligation to 34 creditors. The 2001 racial slur controversy didn't help his earning potential either. Issel was recorded using a racial slur toward a fan during a Nuggets game, leading to a 4-game suspension and his resignation as president and coach. The incident damaged his reputation and reduced opportunities for lucrative post-NBA roles like broadcasting or executive positions, limiting his income in the early 2000s when he needed it most to cover his expanding business losses. On June 30th, 2009, Issel filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, listing $2.1 million in assets against $4.5 million in liabilities. To settle debts, he made the heartbreaking decision to auction cherished memorabilia, including his 1975 ABA All-Star ring and 1989 NBA All-Star ring, raising an estimated $500,000 to $1 million. April 2021, Issel joined ESPN Louisville to co-host Sports Talk with Dan Issel and Mike Pratt. Issel also became president of the Louisville Basketball Investment and Support Group in February 2018, a company pursuing an NBA expansion franchise for Louisville. His monthly expenses dropped to $10,000 to $20,000, covering family needs and minimal lifestyle costs, while working with a financial advisor to manage his NBA pension and new income streams. As a Kentucky and Nuggets legend, Issel earns $10,000 to $20,000 yearly from speaking at local events, charity functions, and basketball clinics. By 2025, Issel's net worth has recovered to an estimated $1 to $5 million, with annual income between $260,000 to $370,000, supporting a comfortable but modest lifestyle. Issel's 2024 response to a false death rumor via his wife Sherry reinforced his community ties and showed he's still very much alive and kicking. That's all for now, folks. If you enjoyed this clip and wouldn't mind more of such content, be sure to click on the card showing on the screen.